Is Russia going to become an open-air prison like North Korea in the future? And is Putin going to become the most terrifying dictator of this prison? In 2025, the way Russian people live hiding within their own country will make you feel suffocated just by imagining it. Under the new regulations, the Russian government is forcibly recruiting criminals, people under investigation, and ordinary citizens into the army. Even those criminals whose court trials haven't happened yet are being sent to the military. In some cases, there is even talk of stripping people of their citizenship, canceling passports, or taking away their travel rights. And many times, the police forcibly pick them up from their homes right in front of their parents. Even many young people are forcibly taken from their workplaces, and they are kept for long periods on the front line or at military bases, which makes them feel unsafe all the time, cuts them off from the outside world, and forces them to live constantly under the shadow of fear. Many times, after receiving a notice, young people run away from home. Then they create a fake identity and live among ordinary people, using underground networks to communicate with their families. Many young Russians tolerate this oppression, while others openly come on camera and share their personal stories with the world. Russia has not only recruited its own citizens, but has also tricked, manipulated, and intimidated the people living in the areas of Ukraine that Russia has occupied, forcing them into the army. And after just a few days of training, they are handed weapons and pushed to fight on the front line. And if anyone resists, they are beaten or arrested. According to reports, around 40,000 to 50,000 Ukrainians have been forcibly recruited into the Russian army. The Russian government is not only forcing Russian and Ukrainian citizens, but also foreign nationals through intimidation and deception to join the military. According to the United Nations and international reports, dozens of South Asian citizens from countries like India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Bangladesh are lured to Russia with fake job offers. Once they arrive, their passports are confiscated. They are then forced to sign contracts and are recruited into the army. And without any proper training, they are handed weapons and directly sent into Ukraine's war zones. And the students who go to Russia for studies are also forced into the army by offering them jobs, money, and residency. Sometimes they are even trapped into marriage offers from beautiful Russian girls and then pushed into military service. And these are not one or two cases. There are countless such cases. For example, Rakesh Kumar, a man from Uttarakhand, India. In August 2025, he went to Russia on a student visa to study. He took admission at St. Petersburg University. Everything was normal for some time. He was regularly speaking with his family, but a few weeks later, Rakesh suddenly called his family from a Russian number. He was extremely scared. He told his family that a few days after reaching Russia, a man approached him with promises of a job, money, and residency. But later, his passport and all documents were taken away. His bank account and mobile were blocked, and then he was forced to wear an army uniform. After only 2 weeks of training, he was given weapons and sent to a place called Donbass. After this, all communication between Rakesh and his family completely ended. The family received photos of him in a Russian army uniform, which terrified them. Eventually, the family appealed for help to the Indian government and the Russian embassy, but Rakesh has not been traced since. Similarly, Sahil Majothi, a 22-year-old from Gujarat, India, was trapped through fake job promises and taken to Russia, where he was later recruited into the army and sent straight to the Ukrainian front line. In this manner, Russia has brought more than 120 Indian youths to Russia under the false pretext of jobs or studies, and then recruited them into the army through deceit or pressure. How many of these people are still alive? No one knows. Similarly, Kenya's Olympic runner Evans Kibet was lured to Russia with a sports visa and a promise of a better career. But upon arrival, his passport was taken away. He was forced to sign a military contract, and then he was sent directly into Ukraine's war zone. These are not one or two isolated cases. They are in the hundreds. Using this same formula, they trap people from Africa, South Asia, and Central Asian countries such as Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Iraq, and push them to the front line. So if you are planning to go to Russia to study, be very careful. Stay away from agents and those who offer fake job opportunities, or I would say, avoid going there altogether. If things continue like this, in the coming time, Russia will become like North Korea, an open-air prison, and Putin will become the most terrifying dictator, where no one can live their life freely or pursue anything of their own choice. Social media is already restricted. Many people's passports have been seized so they cannot escape the country. Friends, in any country, the beginning of dictatorship starts with exactly such signs. It has now been 1,370 days since the Russia-Ukraine war began. In this period, Around 220,000 to 330,000 Russian soldiers have been killed, and nearly 80,000 Ukrainian soldiers have also lost their lives. This figure is shocking, friends. How could a country that has fought more than 100 major wars lose so many soldiers? You'll be shocked to know the number of Russian soldiers actually dying on Russia's side is very low. Most of the deaths are of soldiers from other countries, especially more than 10,000 soldiers from North Korea. Apart from this, the people who were trapped with job promises and then sent to the war zone after just a few days of training. These form the largest number of casualties. This is the main reason why the number of deaths on Russia's side is so high. Moreover, continuous bombing and drone attacks in Ukraine are killing civilians on both sides. According to the United Nations, more than 14,500 civilian deaths have been verified, while the real number is believed to be much higher. Over 35,000 civilians have been injured. With the increasing bombings and drone attacks, this number is rising rapidly. In 2025 alone, civilian deaths increased by 30%. July and October 2025 were particularly deadly. This was the period when Trump was putting pressure on Russia for a ceasefire, and as Trump increased pressure on Putin intensified attacks on Ukraine. Due to Putin's actions, the combined military and civilian casualties of both countries are estimated to be between 1.1 to 1.5 million. This figure includes soldiers from Ukraine, Russia, and foreign fighters from countries like North Korea, Syria, Central Asia, and India. Now, because of all these events, people inside Russia are strongly protesting against Putin. Police often take action against the protesters. Many soldiers, their families, and war bloggers are angry about military losses, corruption, and Putin's poor decisions. A women-led protest group called The Way Home has become one of Russia's major resistance movements. It began in 2023 with women, wives, mothers, sisters, whose husbands, sons, or brothers were forcibly sent to the Ukraine war by the Russian army. These women are demanding the safe return of their loved ones and legal protections for ending the war or bringing soldiers home. Instead of answering these questions, the Russian government uses police action against them. Initially, this movement was limited to online chat groups and social media. Later, hundreds of women began holding sit-in protests across various Russian cities. Many Russian leaders joined them, but they were often silenced by labeling them as foreign agents or fake. Now, not only common people but also the liberal opposition, old soldiers once considered Putin's supporters, conservative media, and war bloggers have turned against him. In recent months, dissatisfaction with Putin is clearly visible among the public and within the military. Russian soldiers fighting on Ukraine's front line are now disheartened after witnessing so much bloodshed, and they want to withdraw. But due to strict government controls, pulling back is extremely complicated, because Putin has no intention of ending the war. Seeing Putin's stubborn approach, General Leonid Ivashov has publicly demanded Putin's resignation. He had already warned in 2022 that Putin's war would endanger Russia's very existence and that Russia had already lost strategically. And what he predicted is exactly what is happening now. Russia today appears strategically isolated on the global stage, because even permanent members of the UN Security Council are giving statements supporting Ukraine. This is Russia's biggest diplomatic defeat, and with rising internal opposition, there is even a possibility that Russia could break further into smaller pieces like the former USSR. Apart from this, more than 40 countries have imposed over 24,000 different sanctions on Russia. Although Russia has found some ways around them, as we explained in detail in our previous video, sanctions may not cause immediate economic collapse, but as exports decrease, jobs inside the country will fall, inflation will rise every year, and this will become a major challenge for Russia in the future. Due to Putin's rigid attitude, experts and human rights groups have repeatedly said that the situation in Russia resembles a nation turned into a prison, where every individual lives under fear of punishment for going against the government's will. Now, on the Ukraine ceasefire issue, Trump has issued a final warning to Zelensky. Trump said that if Zelensky does not accept Trump's 28-point peace deal, the United States may withdraw its support. Under this plan, all U.S. military, financial, and intelligence support to Ukraine could be completely stopped, and then Ukraine would have to fight alone. Trump's peace deal has 5 main points, and to me, they seem extremely controversial. First, Ukraine will have to give Donetsk, Luhansk, and Crimea to Russia, meaning territorial concessions. Second, Ukraine must reduce the size of its army to around 600,000. Currently, Ukraine's military strength is around 2.2 million. including active troops, reserves, and paramilitary forces, and no NATO troops or bases will be allowed in Ukraine. Third, no international tribunal or war crime cases will be filed against Russia in the future. Everyone will receive amnesty. Fourth, some frozen Russian assets will be used for Ukraine's reconstruction, and Russia will get a pathway to return to the G8. Fifth, Ukraine will have to conduct new elections, along with other long-term economic and political conditions. Now Zelensky faces a major dilemma. If he accepts the deal, Russia gets a geographic victory. If he refuses, the military, financial, and intelligence support from the US might stop. Without that, he won't be able to monitor Russian military activities, and Ukraine could lose the war. Zelensky calls this deal a deceptive surrender, saying that it will destroy the country's freedom, justice, and dignity. Either lose our dignity or lose help from our biggest ally, America. Neither option is acceptable for us. Zelensky's European allies also feel that the deal heavily favors Russia, and they are hesitant to support it. And it's clear from this deal that a ceasefire is being forced at the cost of Ukraine's freedom, justice, and dignity. Now, whether Zelensky or the European Union accept the deal or not, Trump has given Zelensky a deadline of November 27th. Accept the deal or fight. Think about it. If Zelensky accepts this deal, is there any guarantee that Russia will never attack Ukraine again? Because the deal talks about reducing Ukraine's army strength. And why is there a demand for new elections in this deal? Is there an attempt to establish a Russian puppet government in Ukraine? The whole world knows that in the past, Russia has had deep influence over Ukrainian politics. In recent years, while attacking Ukraine, Russia made several attempts to install a pro-Russian or puppet government there. So it cannot be ruled out that later Russia may force Ukraine into any conditions it wants. Looking at these points, it seems Trump is completely siding with Russia. I wouldn't call this a deal. This is simply a cheap bargain of a nation, where Ukraine's freedom, justice, and dignity are being played with. What are your thoughts on this? And with the changing situation in Russia, do you also think Russia could become the world's next open-air prison and Putin the terrifying dictator of that prison? And should India learn something from these events? Tell us your views in the comments, and stay connected with us for more such videos. Thank you for watching this video till the end.